I would like to call to order the regular session of the school committee meeting for Tuesday, September 7th. It is 6:32, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michelle, will you call the roll for us, please?
Mrs. Granger?
Here.
Mr. Quinty?
Here.
Mrs. Rishu?
Here.
Mr. Ruprecht?
Here.
Mrs. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Span?
Okay, before we start with Alicia, I just wanted to mention, and I think it went home in the weekly update today, but Mike Tebow, who's the technology director at Air Shirley, his son Jake suffered a serious accident during a hockey game this weekend. And I just want to let Mike and Jake and the rest of their family, the Tebow family, know we are thinking of them. We're praying for them. Jake is one of the nicest kids, just like his dad. We know he's going to get through this, but I just want everyone, to be thinking of them, saying prayers for them, and hoping for the best outcome possible for Jake. There are some fundraisers set up. I know that the weekly update today that went home mentioned the Greg Hill Foundation, and there's also a GoFundMe. So if anyone in the district is inclined, please feel free to contribute. It's going to be a road for the Tebow family, and anything that we can share with them will help them in the days coming. So thank you. And
who's running the GoFundMe? Do you know?
So the GoFundMe was organized by Kevin Lazat, who is one of Mike's closest friends. He's actually my cousin. He is the hockey coach for Littleton Bromfield, and they're very close family friends. So he's running it, highly trustworthy. So I wouldn't be concerned about.
Could I jump in just a minute?
Yes.
The reason, hi everyone, and thank you for putting up with me being virtual. The reason we put the Greg Hill Foundation on and not the GoFundMe is the Greg Hill Foundation is actually matching donations up to $5,000.
Which is true, but it's far surpassed the 5,000. So at this point, I don't think it really matters which one you donate to, because I think the match has been met. That's the only reason I bring them both up. But yes,
Was it up to? I thought it was every donation that was 5,000 or less. Did I misunderstand?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? To be honest, I'm not even sure. Oh my goodness! Look we can see you now. There's baby James. You know what? Yeah, so the James Hill Foundation is a great one to give to. I guess I read it as up to 5,000. They would, the donations up to 5,000, but I don't know.
You know what? I'm not really sure. So the way I read it was they were going to match every donation that was 5,000 or less, but I could be incorrect. So again, yeah, I agree. Anything that people could donate to would be just fantastic. It's just a great family, and we want to support them the best we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. And thank you to everyone. And we will move on to our high school student representative, Miss Alicia Town, who is her first formal meeting in her first full week of school, I guess. So how's the high school? How are things?
It's exciting. It feels good to be back to a little bit more normal. Hopefully that continues, but we'll see.
How's everyone feel about the masks?
I think we're just doing what we can to be together. So we're trying our best. So.
Good.
It's good.
And the transition back to school was good. Everyone seems to be happy to be back.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to be back.
With no virtual piece, that must be a little bit different.
Yeah, I've been getting paper and using a pencil, so it's great.
Not as much screen time.
No.
That's great. Great. Anything we should know about anything that's being planned? I know the senior class did a car wash. How did that go? Do you know?
Yeah, we gained a lot of money. I was working, so I unfortunately couldn't attend, but I heard that a lot of people showed up. A lot of people had fun. We have some sports starting. I have my first volleyball game tomorrow.
Oh, good luck.
Very exciting. Yeah.
I know I saw soccer was out there playing right now.
Yep, my first game.
It's nice to see the activities happening again this fall and
Yes.
people back. And all right, well, have a great school year.
Thank you.
We'll be anxious to hear about the happenings at the high school. Does anyone have any questions for Alicia?
We'll let her off this time. Really next time.
We'll grill you next time.
All right. All right.
All right, well, we'll move on to public participation. If there is anyone watching us from home who would like to speak, if you could please put your name in the chat, and we will be alerted to that, and we'll allot 3 minutes for the public participation. Seeing anything? Okay, we'll give it another like 30 seconds.
Did you just come to support her? That was nice.
All right, nothing in the chat. Great, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda tonight, which includes the August 18th, 2021 regular session minutes for release, as well as the warrant memo that's dated August 30th, 2021. That includes payroll warrants and accounts payable warrants. The accounts payable warrants dated June 30th, 2021 for $81,034.16. Accounts payable warrant dated August 20th, 2021 for $854,671.35. And accounts payable warrant dated August 20th, 2021, $1,741.84. And then a payroll warrant dated August 27th, 2021 for $169,084.13. And payroll warrant dated August 27th, 2021 for $393,939.33. I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve tonight's consent agenda, including the minutes and the warrant memos.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that passes unanimously. We'll move on to our new business, which first item is the recommendation to surplus textbooks. Mr. Charlie Caleri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Typically each year, whenever we purchase new textbooks, we try to surplus the old ones. And so we've recently updated our textbooks for Spanish, which cuts across both the middle school and the high school. And we also added some textbooks to accompany our wellness program for the middle school and the high school. So we did have some old texts that are out of date, which I've included on the memo. Those from Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston from 2008, and those from Glencoe from 2006, with approximate quantities. I haven't done a complete inventory yet. To permission to surplus those. Typically what that means for us, for those new members for a school committee, is that since it's public funded materials, we have to get approval from school committee to discard books that are purchased with taxpayer dollars. And then on top of that, we typically try to sell them back if other organizations are looking for them in the used textbook market. And then if we can't find suitors for that, then we dispose or recycle of them. So I at least wanted to request your approval for this, so I am seeking a vote so that I can surplus these texts.
Okay, thank you. Joyce?
Just a question, please, sir. Spanish is probably still Spanish.
Yes.
Probably hasn't changed very much. And do we know of, and I know this is more work than anybody wants to think of, and maybe it's a bunch of foolishness, but do we know of school districts that would need them? Particularly like the health, who knows, but.
I haven't looked at that. The difference between these two texts is that the standards for both Spanish and for wellness have been updated.
The Massachusetts standards.
Yes, so the Massachusetts standards for foreign language or world language have been updated. That's as of last year. The new releases came out. Health and wellness, the state continues to say that they are going to be updated. The national standards are updated 2 to 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So these texts are aligned with national standards. So it is unlikely that other school systems who are in Massachusetts may who may wish to use those texts, but that's typically why we look for used suppliers. because it's a little bit easier for us, because they know who is looking for these books. And then
Because it
we
wouldn't
can-
necessarily be Massachusetts in case of Spanish or
Correct.
whatever.
Correct.
You know, and there's some pretty poor school districts in the United States.
Yes.
So is that what the used dealers do?
Yes.
Okay.
They make them available to across the country.
And so typically, do we just kind of give them to them, or they give us
Sometimes
5 nickels and 2
It
pennies?
depends how much if they're looking to purchase them, which would mean that they have a market for them somewhere else to sell them,
Buck
then
a
they would
book or
offer us
something.
some amount of money, which
Yeah.
we usually would take in a form of a credit, because we're inevitably looking to purchase
Right.
replacement textbooks for those that get damaged,
Mhm.
and then we can draw down from that credit process.
Mhm. Okay. Just curiosity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, we're going to
The clapper.
clap on. You talk too quiet, Charlie.
Thank you.
Again, need to be more animated. Move my arms around.
All right, so I will.
I would make a motion that we follow Mr. Cleary's recommendation and dispose of, is that the word?
Surplus.
Surplus books from 2008 and 2006.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously, and we'll move on to our
Thank you
superintendent's
very much.
report with Dr. Adam Renda, which I would like to say, Dr. Renda, congratulations to you. We saw you just a few minutes ago with your newborn baby, James. Congratulations.
Thank you. I wanted to, just show him off for a minute.
Yeah, he's
Being a
beautiful.
being a proud dad. Thank you for mentioning what the Tebow family is going through. Obviously, Mike's composure during the news reports that he is on is unbelievable and just so impressive. And I know that if any family and if any kid can get through this, it's the Tebows. So we're just wishing them all the best. And if you can donate to either the Greg Hill Foundation or the GoFundMe that is that was started by Kevin Lazat, we would really appreciate that. Anything to help them would be greatly appreciated. So, an update on school reopening. As you know, school started last week for grades 1 through 12. Really started very smoothly without any major issues, without any major transportation issues or issues during the day. Kids came in masked, happy, and ready to go. Kindergarten started today. Though I wasn't there to witness this firsthand, it's been reported that it went very smooth. It's always exciting and a little bit scary when the 5-year-olds start. We want to make sure that they all got home on the right bus, in the right way, in a good amount of time. And from all reports that I've received, that is what happened. We only have one group of kids that will be starting next Monday, and that is our preschool, and we can't wait to welcome them so that they can begin their educational journey in the Air Shirley Regional School District. And next, I would like to give you an update on the vaccination and infection rates for both Air and Shirley. And so for vaccinations, our 12 to 15-year-olds in Air, 83% of them are vaccinated. So these are all 12 to 15-year-olds, whether or not they attend our schools or not, but 83% in Air are vaccinated. Our 16 to 19-year-olds in Air, 61% are vaccinated. 12 to 15-year-olds in Shirley, 57% are vaccinated. And 16 to 19-year-olds in Shirley, 60% are vaccinated. We don't list anyone under 12 because they are not eligible for the vaccine. So we know that none of those children are vaccinated yet. So what we're hoping is that we can get these numbers above 80%. So when October 1st comes, we will have a decision to make as to whether or not we can go unmasked in our middle school and high school. That would be a great problem to have to make that decision. So we're hoping that all of our students who are eligible can get vaccinated, and we're going to talk about a vaccination clinic that we're hosting in just a minute. The current infection rates, and this is as of today, in Air is 18.4. This is per 100,000. And in Shirley, it's 26.5 per 100,000. We will be participating in routine safety COVID tests. This was called pool testing last year. So Renee Payne and Bill Plunkett have really been spearheading this. This is going to look a little different than last year. So we are going to test anyone with symptoms. We have the antigen test. So anyone who is in school that has a symptom that has filled out the consent can be tested in school immediately. We are also going to do the routine safety COVID test, which would be what the pool testing was last year. We're gonna have 5 to 10 kids in a pool to be tested once a week so that we can hopefully stop the spread of this COVID-19. It's going to look a little different the way that it's going to happen. So instead of having all the students kind of get up and travel to a testing area, whether they're going to participate or not, we're going to have the company that is doing the testing come in and with a cart go classroom to classroom and bring out a few kids at a time to be tested right outside of their classroom. And only students who are participating are going to have to get out of their seat into the hallway to participate in testing. The other part of this that is different than last year is we won't have to quarantine for students who don't have COVID. So what will happen is if they are in close contact with someone who is tested positive for COVID, we have what is called test and stay. So they come to school, they take one of the quick result tests, one of the antigen tests every day for 5 days. And as long as those tests are negative, they can stay in school, fully masked, and follow all of our other protocols. So this is a big difference than last year, and it will be much less disruptive to our students' education. And we are hoping to start that a week from Monday. We are working with the company to work out the kinks. They are receiving the releases from parents to participate now. That letter was sent home last week. And we will send that again this week out to all parents. So anyone who hasn't signed up yet that wants to will have another opportunity to do that. If they do have that email still, they can still do that right now. So if you're listening and you want to sign up for that, go into your emails, find that one that we sent last week, follow that link, and you can fill it out now. If for some reason you deleted that, we will resend that before the end of this week so that you can sign up. Our nurse director, Renee Payne, was able to, and if I'm going too fast, please ask me to slow down. It's a little different being virtual in reading the room as far as speed, because I can't see you right now. I'm looking at my notes. So we do have 2 vaccination clinics that are going to be happening in district. The first is for COVID-19. It will be hosted by Transformation of Health. It will be Wednesday, September 22nd. It will happen at the high school from 4 to 7, and anyone that is 12 or older can participate. We will be sending out a link for the consent, so you can have the consent done before you show up, and it's walk-in. You do not need an appointment. We'll also be hosting a flu clinic for vaccination, and this will be hosted by the Nastroba Associated Board of Health, and that will be Tuesday, October 5th. That will happen at the middle school, and that will be from 3 to 6. And it's open to anyone 6 months of age or older, and that is a walk-in, and there's no appointment required for that. The next item on the superintendent's report I wanted to discuss is where we are in the process of an equity audit. So some of this work started last year. Mr. Cleary and Lorraine Wilson, our SDL and DEI director, actually secured a couple of quotes last year, one from Dig Deep for Equity and another company whose name is Envision. I have them now, and they will be included when we look at all of the quotes and proposals. The other 2, we're waiting on the Lynch Leadership Academy, which is an urban leadership fellowship out of Boston College. We should have that one, I believe, by the end of next week. And we are also waiting one for the Equity Imperative, which is out of Chicago. I have to touch base with them again. I have not heard from them after our initial phone call. So the Dig Deep for Equity proposal is a little more involved than the Envisions. The Envisions is for an equity audit. The Dig Deep is for an equity audit, and then a 2 or 3 year plan on actually training staff. I've worked with a couple of these, actually 3 of these companies in my prior district. Pittsburgh was using Dig Deep for Equity for their equity audit, or inclusivity appraisal is what they call it. The Lynch Leadership Academy, and the Equity Imperative out of Chicago. So I have some familiarity with all of them. I have to say, though, I was impressed with Reading and Vision's proposal. So we're going to have a very hard choice to make once we have all of those proposals. I wanted to give an enrollment update because we have to talk about school choice tonight. We have at Laura A. White, we have a total of 321 students. Page Hilltop has 534. The middle school, 404, and the high school is 378. And at this time, we are making the recommendation to close school choice for all of our elementary schools for a couple of reasons. One, our enrollment in the elementary schools is high, but part of that is the special education numbers are very high, and often our school choice, students who school choice and our special needs earn on IEPs, and we cannot pick and choose who we accept for school choice. If it's open, we have to take everyone. And right now, those numbers are too high, and we would not be able to support our students the way that we want to if we were taking students from other districts. Also, the middle school, the enrollment is up very high, and we simply just don't have room. And I talked to Spencer Christie this afternoon, and he is hoping to close school choice for 11 and 12 and keep it open for 9 and 10, even though that the 9 and 10 enrollment is higher than the 11 and 12. And part of the reason for that is we just don't have enough time to catch our 11th and 12th graders up when they're transferring in if they're behind in credit. So we would like to close school choice for 11 and 12. So really, that would only leave it open for grades 9 and 10. So I don't know if you had any questions about that. Now, if you wanted me to keep going.
Joyce has a question.
Dr. Indeso, it seems like previously we had various grade levels, because you don't have to open the whole school, you can open just a certain grade level. Do we have any of that in any of the lower grades in certain places or certain schools?
We thought we did. We thought we would be able to do that in different grade levels in the elementary schools, but after talking to Tara Bozic, the special education director, our special ed numbers are high in every grade level, even though our enrollment isn't necessarily high in every grade level. So our caseloads for our special educators are high in every grade level. So if we take school choice kids in and they happen to have an IEP and be in special education, the caseload is going to get to the point where it's going to be unmanageable for our special educators. That's why we're recommending to close it for K to 5. And the middle school enrollment is just high. Their grades they're at 100 and over 130 in every grade level.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions before Dr. Enda continues? Go ahead, all set.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Again, I can't see anyone right now. So water filling stations. Right now, we have 2 at the high school, and there's a potential to convert 4 more from existing water fountains or bubblers, depending on what you like to call them. Middle school, there's 1. We have the potential to convert to 2 more, and Page Hilltop has 3, and there's 3 existing that we could make filling stations. And this says that Laura A. White has 4, but I got a conflicting report today that there's 2, so I'm going to have to double check that number. One thing that we did do was provide water bottles for all staff, and I believe the students got their water bottles this week, but if not, they're coming. So we ordered water bottles for every student and all staff so that we can use those filling stations and we can do less of the disposable or single-use water bottles that we had to do last year.
Good.
Do they have the logo on them?
They do.
Awesome.
The teachers got double insulated thermos type, and the kids got nice plastic ones with the logo. I think they're nice looking, but you know, I haven't always been known to have the best taste, so.
Love it.
You can be the judge when you see them.
Love the branding.
We do have some good news to share. We would like to celebrate some of our staff anniversaries and some of our staff who have earned professional status this school year. So if there's no questions on the water filling stations, I'll go into that.
Yep, go ahead.
So we have 2 staff who have been with either Air or Shirley for 25 years, Jan France and Leslie Rice. For 20 years, Gail Jana Skiwich, Nancy Pascaretta, and Leslie Whitehouse. And 15 years, we have Peggy Carlson, Justin Carlson, Macy Dodge, Rachel Fletcher, Meredith Martin, Justin Maber, Mike Tebow, and Peggy Twist. And teachers who earn professional status: Nicole Beckwith, Ashley Collins, Audrey DeRoches, Shannon Dunn, Jean Liddy, Hannah Magno, Kathleen O'Brien, Christopher Pataki, Lindsay Rocco, Rachel Savoy, Kevin Southwick, Laura Van Tassel, and Justin Whitmore. Oh, sorry, there's one on another page, Mary Ann Zine. If any of my workmates know that I mispronounced one of those names, please correct me, make the correction now. I hope I said those all right.
You did all right. There are a couple
All
there.
right.
Well, there are a couple, well,
Chris Paddocky and
Okay.
Gail Janiskevich.
Janiskevich.
Okay.
Tricky
My
one.
apologies. I will learn that and not make that mistake again. And Charlie, thank you for saying the names correctly. Congratulations. Thank you for being with us for so long, and for those of you who have earned
Kids are all
professional
good.
status, we hope to one day, probably not me, but hopefully someday they'll be reading your names for being here for 25 years. And I'm having a technical issue here. Okay, an athletics update. So the Air Shirley Regional High School was named a 2021 Unified Champion School by the Special Olympics. The Special Olympics Unified Champion School program is aimed at promoting social inclusion through intentionally planned and implemented activities affecting system-wide change. With sports as the foundation, the 3-component model offers a unique combination of effective activities that equip young people with tools and training to create sports, classroom, and school climates of acceptance. These are school climates where students with disabilities feel welcome and are routinely included in and feel a part of all activities, opportunities, and functions. And I can tell you personally, I couldn't be more proud to be part of an organization that is part of the Special Olympics and the Unified Champion Schools. It's just fantastic. And if you haven't ever been to any of the unified sports activities, I highly suggest that you go. It is absolutely amazing to see. It's one of the best things that I've been involved with, and that my daughter's actually involved in this at Fitchburg High School, and it's fantastic. It's great for all the kids involved. And sports have started. So the fall season has started this week. All of our teams will have a game and be in action this week. Varsity soccer kicked off today against Lunenburg. Golf had its second match versus St. Bernard's at Oak Hill. And on Wednesday, varsity 1 and 2 volleyball will be at Marlborough, and cross country will host Lunenburg at 3:30. Football and cheer open its season this Friday night. We'll be hosting Sutton at Neshoba Regional High School in Bolton at 7 p.m. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Renda? Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Renda. We will move on to ongoing business. So as Dr. Renda talked about school choice for the 2021-2022 school year, I believe the recommendation is that we close school choice to all but grades 9 and 10. So I will entertain a motion for us to do that.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that we accept school choice for only grades 9 and 10 for the coming school year.
Oh, second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? No? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There's no opposition. So the equity audit, Dr. Renda, is that what you touched on in your report, or did you have more you wanted to share?
I touched on it in the report. There's really not much else to share yet. We have 2 proposals in, we're waiting for 2 more. Once we get all of them, we will take a look as central office, bring in some principals, and then start including school committee and some teachers to look at all the proposals and really choose one to move forward with. But we haven't done that yet. I want all the proposals in before we move forward. There's nothing worse than getting a group of adults together to work and then not be able to start the work because you don't have everything you need. So I want to wait till I actually have them in hand until I ask people to spend time doing this.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so then we're going to move on to item 10, which is the policy review report. And tonight it's the Shirley Regional School District Public Schools face mask / face covering protocol for staff and students. So at our last meeting when we voted on the masks in our building, it was before the Department of Education came out with the mask mandate, which I believe is through October 1st.
October 1st.
So that, had we just waited, the pressure would have been off. But we still need to have a policy in place, and that's what this addresses. So I will take conversation about this. Is this the version with Jim's edits?
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Quinty had brought forth some recommendations for how the policy could be revised, and what's in our drive tonight includes those revisions. So if you guys want to take a look, and we can discuss it.
I only saw one thing that I was thinking in the spirit of what Jim mentioned last week, where it's an airborne virus protection policy, so that way we kind of have a blanket policy so we don't have to keep coming back. When you look at paragraph 1, line 3, it says wear an approved face mask. What I was thinking of is saying CDC approved, since they're a health protection agency, given that the airborne virus may be something different than what we currently have. That way we wouldn't have to revisit the policy again. And then that way we're specific in what we're looking for as far as what face masks are to align with those standards at that time. That was the only thing I had.
That's great. I'm sorry, can you just point me where you're reading from?
Say that again, I
The
lost
first,
you.
that's okay, the first paragraph, the third line, see how respiratory is in red because that was his
Oh, yeah.
suggestion?
Yep.
So what we would put is CDC approved, just so then that way we don't have to go and change the policy again if it's a different kind of airborne virus.
Okay, thank you.
Have approved masks?
CDC?
Yeah.
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay.
And one of the, we discussed last week was a rate at the exact point that she's speaking was ASTM level 1 or better. CDC approves like levels 1,
Ask him
2,
to park
3, depending on what
his
you're
mask,
doing.
we can understand.
Level 1 protection is N95 or better, covers all.
So is level 1 the baseline, and then it goes higher, or is
Lower.
it's the lowest?
But, that's the highest amount of protection until you start getting to like closed respirators and that sort of stuff.
Okay. So is it the most stringent form? Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that?
Yes.
That's
Which
okay.
means that like Cheryl and I probably would not, and Michelle would not be in good, like we would not be in
Right.
compliance right now.
Right.
They're also hard to find sometimes.
I don't know if we
Well,
want
it's-
to.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that we should be going that strict, because, I mean, everybody would be out of compliance. Like, what do we
Well,
even be
I-
giving out as far
I mean,
as a
Jim-
school district?
I mean,
Yeah.
Surgical.
Surgical.
Yeah.
Is that in compliance with what Jim's mentioning?
That's a surgical mask is an ASTM 1.
Is it?
I'm
Oh, I
not.
didn't think it was.
Right.
Well,
This is,
But a lot of it, I mean, when you get into that, a lot of it is, how well does it fit? But, you know, the key thing is, if you have that, even with some other fitting things, and even with this, you know, of a standard surgical mask, is that for airborne viruses, you're really trying to slow the trajectory and the dispersion. And all this filters it down, so basically, even if there's smaller leaks, they're pretty much around you, not going out 3, 4, 5 feet away. But like, you know, the masks that we had, like, I think when we first started, like the cloth ASRSD ones, those clearly are not gonna cut it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, as people that are not in the building every day, what our students are coming and wearing and what kind of nightmare it will be if we mandate something that students don't, A, don't have access to, or B, aren't going to be able to get. And if we're going to be providing disposables, that's like a daily, one day you wear one and throw away. We're not going to be able to keep up with demand. So I'm just concerned with mandating something stricter than CDC requires, especially since I don't think we did that last fall or last school year when things were, you know, we didn't even have access to vaccinations at this point. I mean, I know, you know, we have a relatively, you know, middle of the road vaccination rate, but at least we do have quite a few students and most of our staff vaccinated. So that's an added protection that we didn't have last year. So going with something that's even more stringent than what we mandated last year seems like it's a little too much where as far as where I'm concerned. Joyce?
Well, the N95, like somebody just said, sometimes they're kind of hard to get, but a 3-layer mask like the disposable ones, and respiratory in there is a little misleading because that could be a dust mask. You know, it could be like your carpenter's mask, which are not really fine, going for fine, I think. Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. We wear an like the highest.
No, but
highest
N95,
level.
but if you just say
Yeah.
respiratory mask, that could be something you get at the hardware store for dust.
I'm saying what you get at a hardware store is actually a better grade than most. I
Is it
wear 'em
down
all
to
the
the
time in
virus
my
level?
construction.
Yeah. No, I take your word for it, I just don't know.
Yeah.
What I recommend that we made a lot of alterations because it was like kind of a quick first read, and somehow she was able to get pretty much everything we said on the page. So why don't we, next time, bring it back for another read with the changes out of there. You know, because it's we're kind of jumping around the page a little bit. And that'll give everybody a week and a half or so to do their own stuff. My concern with not having any kind of grade, then it's like, well, it's not really protection anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. I'm just
It'll give us a
concerned.
couple of weeks to think it out.
Yeah.
But I think it's wise we don't vote on it today, but I think if we just allow Michelle to make the changes to it, so we'll look at one sheet of paper and hopefully to Dr. Renner's recommendation with the changes we made, we might even approach a single page, which would be nice. But we'll just see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Even if we could bring
Yeah.
back, I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't see your hand. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, so would you like this to come back without the strike-throughs and whatever is in red and black text?
Mhm.
Right?
Yes?
And maybe if we could come back with what was in last year's blueprint for what were our requirements were
Sure.
for face coverings, because I would think we'd want to keep it somewhat similar and, again, not stricter.
So I just put a link in the chat that is from the CDC, and it's what they are recommending. And essentially, it's cloth masks that are more than 1 layer.
Okay,
If we went with N95, I don't know if we'd be able to have school. I don't know if we'd be able to get that many. And they do, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe they need to be fitted to you to actually be as effective as they can be. And I honestly don't know if they're really made to be worn for 6 hours straight. If you worn them, they're not as comfortable as what most of you are wearing tonight, but they do provide more protection. So that link is to the CDC recommendation of what types of masks to wear. So maybe we can use that to inform our
Do
policy.
you have a question too?
oh,
More of a follow-up to add to
Sure.
what Dr. Rendon said. In our handbook for this year, it outlines what our requirements for that are very much aligned with what the CDC said and what Dr. Rendon said in terms of we call them plies, or amount of layers that are in there. So it's the same policy that we used last year, that we said, yes, there are plenty of other masks that are on the market that are single layer, double layer, and so on, but we said that you have to have one that has 2 layers or more. So that would at least cover the mask that you were all wearing, plus the surgical masks.
Is there anything for certain special educators where they're wearing, you know, I'm thinking about speech and language pathologists where they're wearing face shields instead of masks? I'm trying to think, like, are there any, or are they wearing clear?
Yeah.
They
the ones
have
with the-
clear masks that they can wear if they need to. Others are using some other technological options
Yeah.
to work on phonics with their kids,
Yeah.
using document cameras and such to kind of project and show kind of lip formation, mouth formation
Okay.
as a means of doing that too.
Just want to make sure we don't keep anyone from doing their job.
That's a good point.
I have to say, if none of you have seen the mask that some of our speech people have used with the, there's a section of it that's clear.
Yeah.
It is just the strangest thing. It's pretty funny. I don't know if anyone is still using them because they probably couldn't stop laughing. Someone made a lot of money on these, but they're pretty interesting to see. So if we can find some, we'll take some pictures and share with you.
Bring it back.
Yeah, great. So, yeah, so if everyone's okay with Jim's recommendation, so we can look into, review this again. I mean, now we're at least somewhat under the protection of the DESI policy, so we'd need something in place before October 1st. But if we could come back with what we had in our blueprint last year, what you talked about, that's in the handbooks now, and, you know, look over what's in our packet this week, maybe we can wrap it up at our next meeting. Joyce, did you have
Well,
some?
if it's in, if we just approved the handbooks at the last meeting, right? And once it's in the handbook, that is essentially the policy.
Well, we have a statement in there that says
Unless we
can-
need to revise
We can
handbooks.
say we can revise the handbook at any time. And,
We can,
yeah.
okay.
And I think this, you know, could be some sort of superseding policy, given the medical,
Yeah, but you still would have
Crisis
to
at the
revise
time.
the handbook.
My only word of caution with, the blueprint was extremely well done last year. It was impressive to see. But there's been a lot that has changed in the guidance from last year. So I think it's worth taking a look at, but we probably want to base it on more of what the CDC is saying now.
Yep.
Right.
Because a lot of that has changed.
okay, yep, that makes sense.
And the state policy is through October 1. And so we'll need to have some, essentially what we're doing is giving ourselves something that will carry us through the school year. Dr. Redna, your point about if we reach 80% vaccination above age 12, we'll need to revisit. Is the plan that we will stay in masks? Do we need to have that decision part of our vote next week, or can we have this be
Sliding.
something that'll go until we need to revisit it?
That's a good question. So when you mentioned that 80% benchmark, is that what you are thinking as being kind of like a benchmark for no masking, or, you know?
So the state will lift, or the, yes, the Department of Ed has said that if schools reach the 80% benchmark, that they will be able to go unmasked after October 1st. Now, that could change. Come October 1st, there could be schools that have reached that. There are schools that have already reached it. And they may not lift it. But what Commissioner Riley said, that after October 1st, if there are schools that have reached the 80% vaccinated benchmark, they can return to school without being masked. Now, since the school committee has voted to have full masking, we would, I believe, still have to have a vote from our school committee whether or not
Yeah.
to follow those guidelines from DESI or to stay fully masked. So just because if we make that, doesn't necessarily mean we will go unmasked.
Okay,
That would be a decision that would be left up to the 6 of you.
okay. So maybe we wouldn't want to put anything
Yeah.
in a policy right now because conditions
wouldn't
change,
put-
circumstances change. Even if you're at 80%, if the rest of the towns are, you know, raging with COVID, we wouldn't want to.
And you could get a small localized spike that you would want to have everybody mask anyway, so.
Right, exactly. All right, so we'll do that. We'll bring this back to our next meeting, which is Wednesday, September 15th. Okay, so chairman's notes, I don't have any. I just, made my comments at the beginning of the meeting about the Tebow family, and again, keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and if you're able, donations are much welcome. So, are there any other topics for discussion not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting? Yes, Joyce?
If I could just ask a question, and I'm sure I was asleep during this meeting, so I apologize. Why are we meeting next week?
Well, it's just the way the
And
timing.
not the rest of the month?
It's the timing, because we usually go the first Tuesday and the third Wednesday, and because the first Tuesday
was the
fell on a
7th.
Wednesday, the first Tuesday, the first of the month was a Wednesday, which
Right.
makes this meeting late. And then the third Wednesday is a week later. It's just unfortunate timing, so you
But I'm
get.
just wondering, with everything going on, do we have any reason to meet next week, or should we bump it to the week after in September? Just because it seems like, and then you have all the rest of September, you have another 52 weeks in September with no meetings, and we're talking about October 1st date, so it seems like it's a really, I guess I remember that's why that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if we should revisit that, looking at everything that's going on with the beginning of school, and then going 3 weeks without a meeting.
So can I just ask, I don't have the calendar in front of me, you do. So that Wednesday is a half day. I'm just looking to see
Is
what
there any
that.
reason not to meet September the,
90-minute early release.
It's an early release
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
That doesn't
professional
affect
development,
any
that
of the
wouldn't impact us. I
staff.
just wanted to make sure there was
For
no
the
open
PD, for the
houses.
teachers.
No, the open
They'll
house
be
starts
here.
23rd.
So I don't know about everyone else's schedule. I'm fine if we want to move it to the 22nd. It does make sense. It gives like a buffer between. I was thinking if it was going to be too close to the October meeting, what's the point? We're going to have them close. But it looks like it does still give almost 2 weeks until the October meeting.
yeah, just at the beginning of the year when there's
Yeah,
so much
that's-
stuff happening, it seemed like,
fine.
I'm like, why?
I'm looking at 5 Wednesdays in September, so.
Dr. Renda, are you okay if we were to push it to the 22nd instead of the 15th?
Yeah, because the baby will be older.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be so much older.
Yeah, the baby was so much older, you'll be able
He'll
to.
be walking by then, right?
Yeah.
He'll talk. Anybody else have a conflict? Michelle, are you good with that if we do that?
Yep.
Okay, so why don't
Would
we?
you like a motion to that effect, Madam Chair?
I don't
Or
think
not?
it's necessary.
Okay.
So, okay, so is that the only other topic for discussion, not
Thank
reasonably
you very much for
anticipated? Yeah.
considering that.
Yeah, sure, thanks for bringing it up. Jim, sorry.
Are we anytime soon going to see a presentation on the fields design?
So the Fields Committee is meeting, I don't think it's at that point yet. The Fields
16th.
Committee is meeting again, I believe it's the 16th. We can put an update on that agenda for the 22nd
Sure.
and provide an update at that point, but there's no real change to the Fields design that I'm aware of yet from what was passed by the towns. We're working off of that plan.
Yeah, they had, I know we had the sketches and stuff for the town, but the town approves the right to design what you want.
Yeah.
Right, so, we had, that can change in a lot of different ways, and I'm not saying we're looking for approval or non-approval, just that, I get questions about particular elements, I say, I don't really know.
Yeah, well, nothing has I can tell you that at the meetings, we've talked about different elements, about, throwing events and placement and different ideas and, but nothing has fundamentally changed from the layout, from the plans that were approved and presented to the towns. So, Dr. Renda, would you agree with that statement, that we haven't really fundamentally changed anything?
No, there was some talk about the concession stand, but nothing has changed.
Yeah, so we're still, working on all of that stuff too, but, and we've met once, twice?
Once.
Twice? Twice.
Twice.
Once since you arrived.
So, I might have been at 2, excuse me, I'm a little tired the last couple of days.
No excuses, no excuses.
No, come
I mean, a
on.
newborn, come on.
You're experienced.
The next meeting is coming up, and I think we'll have more in-depth conversations with Activitas and I forget what we were working on when we last left with them, like what their what we were talking about. I do know, do you remember, Bill?
Madam Chair, a lot of the geotechnical work was done.
Okay.
A lot of the test bores were dug, so you can look at the layout now of the buildings and the renovation. So there will be a lot to discuss, because a lot of that work has happened.
Great. Okay, thank you. So we'll make sure Bill will help me, and we'll have an update, and Dr. Enda, because remember nothing. But we'll have an update at our meeting following that 16th meeting. Okay? All right, so we'll move on to communications. Cheryl Simmons.
Okay, so preschoolers are coming in for orientation on Friday, September 10th. And then their first day is Monday, September 13th. The high school open house is going to be on Thursday, September 16th, and more details will follow. On Wednesday, September 22nd, it was mentioned there's a 90-minute early release for grades preschool through 12th grade. For professional development for the teachers. And the dismissal time for the high school and middle school is at 12:50, and the elementary schools is 1:45, and lunch will be served at the schools. Thursday, September 23rd is the middle school open house, and the middle school folks will get more information out soon. Sunday, September 26th, yay, the Holdenwood Trail Run. 1 Parker Road, Shirley, 9 a.m. registration and bid pickups opens at 9 a.m. And then at 10 a.m. is the 2K run or walk, that's when they're starting. And then the 5K and 10K starts at 11 a.m. On Wednesday, September 29th, Laura A. White open house, more details to follow. And Thursday, September 30th is the Page Hilltop open house. And again, more details will follow.
So can I just ask you a quick question, Dr. Renda or Mr. Clary or whoever might know, just as a general rule, will those open houses most likely be virtual or will they be in-person events?
We've talked about doing kind of a hybrid of both ways. And, I think it's tough to have fully in person because we are expecting all of our kids to mask up and social distance as best as possible. And then we're going to invite all of our students and their parents and families in. So we're really hoping something would have changed before open houses happened, but it seems like it's getting worse. So I will have a conversation with the principals, but I would have to say I would lean to having those virtual at this point.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but I just wanted to make sure if people are asking, I want to be able to kind of say most likely. And that's what I have said, but I didn't want to be the expert, so I just.
Prior to COVID, we had an incredible showing of families, and it was quite crowded, so,
I think you'd have more.
Yeah, and actually, for the high school, I thought they did an excellent job with what they did last year virtually. I thought it worked really well. So, we made the best out of a tough situation last year, and I think, we've probably learned some stuff we could continue with this year if we have to,
right.
so.
I think the sooner we're out with that, the better off everybody is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't see it realistically any way of doing it in person, so I think we should just sort of move forward to planning to go virtual.
Yeah, and maybe alerting families that maybe in the next weekly update, maybe include that information would be good.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how we can pull it off safely. We didn't have convocation in person. We're limiting assemblies to one grade level at a time. So we will get that out. I'll send an email to building principals and we'll get that out before the end of the week.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else before we adjourn, other than I'll just announce our next meeting. We changed our next meeting from September 15th to September 22nd at 6:30. That will be at the middle school library, and then following that will be the Tuesday, October 5th meeting at 6:30 here in the LGI room. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to adjourn the school committee at, if I can read that, 7:27.
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? I know one has no discussion over it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we're adjourned at 7:27.